If you enjoy this podcast, then be sure to check out Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, where you can get your daily dose of farm wisdom. Tune in every day to learn the latest tips, tricks, and stories from the world of farming. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just getting started, our podcast has something for everyone. Join us as we explore topics like farm business, crop planning, soil management, and tools and technology. Start your day off right with Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily, available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe today. The idea of mixing microgreens into shoots, I want to talk a little bit about the thought process behind that, advantages, economics. Microgreens are a quick cycle. So you could, in your 6 to 12 days, let's just call it 9 days on average. What are your field greens? What do you think they average out DTM in the year? 50 days?
We do a lot of baby Mizuna. We've got 5 varieties. Outdoors, it's 17 days in summer, 45 in winter. So let's say 28 days, I guess.
Okay,
Average.
so 28 days on the lettuce crops or the leafy green crops.
Yeah, the Mizunas. Lettuce is a lot longer. We're pretty much just doing lettuce in the greenhouse now, year round.
So the microgreens, the one advantage of putting in the mix is it gives you it's insurance in a way. If something happens in the field, weather slows the crop down, poor germination, whatever, microgreens can step in and fill that gap really quickly because you can notice, oh, this bed is behind. And then within 9 days in this example, you could catch up with microgreens in the greenhouse to get that volume up. In terms of economics, how do you think it plays out? I think some people view microgreens as not think for sure, a higher dollar per pound crop. So if I take microgreens and I sell them, they're going to be higher than in the States. A lot of salad mixes, $12 a pound. Well, microgreens are going to be more than $12 a pound. So one could argue you're taking a high dollar value product, making this number up $25 a pound, and you're putting it in a $12 a pound mix, you're losing money. The counter to that could be, well, I can't sell all those microgreens at $25 a pound and enough, so that's a moot point. What are your thoughts on the economics of making this all work?
So the micros are double the value of field salad. If we just stick at value rather than dollar price, maybe absolutely it's a consideration. The last winter was tight. Our new greenhouse was skinned but not in production, and I couldn't get Mizuna seed for 3 months. That's like our workhorse. So I was putting more microgreens in the mix at that point, knowing I've got no other options. This is the only way that I can keep my fridges full across town. I'm selling them at a lesser value. We just did our first price change in 8 years, and we did it going into winter. Everything, all our retail salad bags are mixed are 150 grams. And instead of increasing for $6.50, instead of increasing the price while we're in a double recession, we just reduced the grams from 150 to 125 grams. I think that's about a 17% price increase. But the bag still looks the same, especially if it's got lettuce in there. The bag fills out nice. And just that 17% change made a big difference on being able to put more micros into the mix when we need to, and to increase our margins on the micros. So I'll just run through an example, and we don't measure every harvest, but some harvests I'm looking at, okay, here's our microgreens harvest, here's our restaurant orders for garnish, and then if let's say the remainder of the micros, so let's just rewind. Big orders come in from restaurant for micros. So you're like, right, we don't have a lot of microgreens left. You might have half of them left. we won't sell any retail microgreens that day. We'll put all of the microgreens into the mix. The field mix, the mix is definitely our number one seller in retail. And so then I'll track how many microgreens am I selling at the premium full price by weight, what's that value, and then how many microgreens am I selling at a lesser value in the mix, and then I'll do the calculation and I'll look back at what am I making per tray. And so that the dollars per tray is influenced by how many you can sell at a premium and how many you're selling in the mix. That was a big change for us by changing the bag size, where now it's not that much of a deal if we put a bit more micros in the mix. Really, if retail sales are strong, we're going to put as many across there as possible. But that just made things a whole lot better. And so I ran through this exercise recently where we didn't have a big harvest of micros, and I did the calculations, and I was still hitting $22 a tray. Now that doesn't take labor in, but that's removing the seed cost, and that's the basic maths we've always done on the microgreens. We just want to be making $20 a tray. We know we can do $30 and sometimes $40 a tray, but we just need to measure on that bottom baseline. If it's less than $22, we really got to consider, is this even worth it?
Yeah, so the microgreens are like a utility player, and here it's the equivalent of, I don't know, in basketball, it's like a OG Anunoby or Jason Tatum or somebody who can play all these positions. You guys have rugby over there. I don't know the names of the positions, but I'm
Yep.
sure there's somebody on the team that can do a lot of the different roles. And that's kind of how microgreens are in your operation. It's like you're growing, you're here, where you needed this week, we're shipping you off there. They're the Marines of a market farm.
Hey there, want to spend less time pulling weeds? Check out Soil Shield by Modern Grower. It's the pre-cut landscape fabric solution to help you drastically reduce weed pressure. Just roll it out, staple it down, and plant. Then let it do the work for you. Say goodbye to endless weeding and hello to more free time. Plus, it's high quality, durable, and will last for years, saving you time and money in the long run. It's available in a variety of row and hole spacings to accommodate all the crops that vegetable farmers grow. Learn more about Soil Shield landscape fabric at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.